Hi, boys and girls. For shared reading this week, we are going to read a book called Jumping into the Leaves. So let's take a look at the front cover. What is Raccoon doing? Have you ever jumped in a pile of leaves? This book is a type of fiction book called fantasy. It's about animals that act like people. So there's the front cover. And here's the back cover, and oftentimes the author will put a little blurb on the back. And this little blurb says, Flora wants to jump into a big pile of leaves, but raking leaves into a pile takes a lot of work. Can Flora convince her friends to help her? When we read this book, we're going to see a few words that are covered up. We're going to take a look at the word and think about what does the word look right? Does the word make sense, whatever word we try, okay? So we're going to try to solve those words when we get to them. So we'll kind of get started and then we'll try to solve those tricky words. Jumping into the leaves. Jumping into the leaves. And on the title page, you see our three characters, Buster, Flora, and Reddy. Flora looked at the leaves floating down from the trees. I know, she said. I'll blank the leaves into a big pile. What would make sense here? Take a look at your picture clues. What is she going to do to the leaves to put them in a big pile? Let's see. I'll rake the leaves into a big pile. Does that make sense? Yeah, and does it sound right in our story? It sure does. Then I'll jump into the pile. So Flora started to rake the leaves. What are you doing? Asked Buster. I'm raking the leaves into a big pile, said Flora. Then I'll jump into it. Want to help? That's a lot of work, said Buster. See you later. Flora kept raking the leaves. What are you doing? Asked Reddy. I'm raking the leaves into a big pile, said Flora. Then I'll jump into it. Want to help? That's a lot of work, said Reddy. See you later. Flora kept raking. And the pile got bigger and bigger. Soon it was... Here's another covered up word. What would make sense here? Look at the big pile. Soon it was huge. Does that make sense? And the pile got bigger and bigger. Soon it was huge. It sure does. This looks great, she said. Time to start jumping. We're back, said Buster. Are you going to jump all by yourself? Asked Reddy. You didn't help me rake the leaves into a big pile, but now you want to jump with me? Flora asked. Yes, said Buster. Exactly, said Reddy. I think I'll jump into the leaves by myself, Flora said, but you can, me. What might make sense there? But you can watch me. Does that make sense? I think I'll jump into the leaves by myself, Flora said, but you can watch me. Whee! She called as she flew into the air. Wahoo! She yelled as the leaves crunched. Soon the pile of leaves was very small. That was so much fun, shouted Flora. We could really see that, said Reddy. All the leaves are scattered now, said Flora. I could rake them by myself again, but if I had help... We'll help, said Buster. Soon the pile of leaves was huge again. 1, 2, 3. Blank, Flora. What would make sense there? 1, 2, 3. I see an SH. Shh. Shouted, Flora. 1, 2, 3, shouted Flora, and they all jumped into the leaves together. And that is the end of the story. What are you thinking about this book, Jumping into the Leaves?